Hi everyone, welcome today in this short walkthrough where we will discuss the most recent questions from the mass and balance subject in the ATPL theory. We'll go through 5 questions that were seen in the last 30 days in actual exams across all EASA authorities. So without any further ado, let's jump into the first question from mass and balance. So the operating mass is. So this question asks us about the all the masses about of the aircraft, which we should know. So here, a big tip is to remember the big vans. Big vans travel fast mnemonic, which gives us all of the aircraft mass. So B is of course the basic empty mass. We have then also variable load. We have the traffic load, which is the passengers, and the fuel. And the variable load is the crew and the water that's inside that's used for the toilets, catering, and all these things. Now remember that the dry operating load or the dry operating mass are these two. Then we also have the useful load, which is also called disposable load, which is the traffic and fuel. And the operating mass of the aircraft or the OM is everything a part of the traffic load, which is the passengers and the baggage that they have. So in this case, the operating mass will be the takeoff mass, or also called all-up mass, minus the traffic load, which is the passengers and their luggage or their baggage. However, these questions come in all different forms, so don't be surprised if you see other iterations of this. Remember, big vans travel fast. And now question number 2. If the CG of an aircraft is close to its forward limit, what will be achieved if the fuel is transferred from the wing's tanks to an airplane's fin or horizontal stabilizer tanks? So some aircraft are equipped with these trim tanks, which allow us to change the CG of the aircraft as we fly by playing with fuel's position. For all of these questions from both performance, mass and balance, and principles of flights, remember this key rule that if the CG is forward, it increases stability but decreases maneuverability and performance. If the CG is aft, this increases maneuverability but decreases stability and increases performance. So with aft CG, we'll have less load on the steering. We'll also have better stalling speeds, slower takeoff speeds, bigger range, more fuel efficiency. And this is all because the component of lift is we're not adding into our weight, because the horizontal stabilizer will create less downforce, meaning we'll need less lift to maintain a straight and level flight. With less lift, meaning we can generate less drag, we'll have better fuel efficiency and better speeds. So if the CG is more aft, we'll have efficient fuel consumption by repositioning CG, yes. So best range by repositioning CG forward. It's the opposite. Of course, fuel economy forward as well is the opposite. And efficient stability control, no, the aft CG decreases stability, but it favors maneuverability of an aircraft. Question number 3. What is the definition of regulated landing mass? So when it comes to all the aircraft masses, we'll almost always deal with the structural and performance masses. And for example, remember that we'll calculate both of them, and always we will take the more restrictive one, so the one that is less. And this will be our regulated mass, because if you calculate that you need, for example, 50 tons in order to maintain a specific climb gradient, maximum 50 tons to maintain climb gradient after takeoff. However, 49 tons is the maximum takeoff mass of an aircraft. Then, of course, you will not load the aircraft to 50 tons, as then you would go over the maximum takeoff weight. And this calculation is essentially giving us the regulated landing mass, which is the lower of the two always. And in this case, the regulated landing mass will be lower of the performance and maximum structure landing mass. This sounds correct. It's always the more restrictive ones, and that's what I would like you to remember for these type of questions. So question number 4. Given that the maximum fuel capacity of an aircraft is 400 US gallons and the fuel density is 0.78 kilograms per liter, what is the maximum mass of fuel that can be loaded? Um, so, of course, all these numbers can be found in the cap for mass and balance. And I believe that for exams, depending on the authority, however, most authorities allow you to have these caps during the exams. So don't forget to take advantage of these and always cross-check your numbers. So a US gallon is, of course, 3.785 when we change them into liters. However, the number that we'll get, and we can do the quick calculation together. So we have 400 US gallons times 3.78. This gives us 1,514 liters. Liter is nothing but 1 square decimeter. But remember that this, of course, if we want to change it for weight, depends on the specific density of the fuel or of the fluid. And these will always be different. Of course, water has a specific density of 1. This is why 1 liter of water is also 1 kilogram of water. But this is not true for other liquids, such as the fuel. So then the 1,540 kilograms has to be multiplied by the specific gravity or fuel density. In this case, we have 0.78, and this gives us 1,180.9. And in this case, the closest answer is this one. And I agree that this is not correct, as of course the answers given, all of these are higher than what we got in the calculations, but unfortunately sometimes we have to take the one that is closest. So in this case, 1,182. And you will do these calculations very often during flight school when doing the mass and balance calculations for your aircraft. So you will be required to change, of course, the quantity into mass of the fuel, depending on what fuel your aircraft will run on, most likely Jet A1, or maybe MOGAS if you're flying some older aircraft. And the question number 5, which is the last question, using the information given in the annex for a transport airplane, determine the length of a mean aerodynamic chord of this airplane. So here, just a quick revision and reminder of what Mach actually is. So mean aerodynamic chord, it is a chord of an aircraft that is where we have to imagine that the wing's shape is square. So the square shape of the wing that determines mean aerodynamic chord has exactly the same properties as the actual wing, however, has a different shape. So of course, the commercial aircraft will most always have swept wings. And in order to calculate mean aerodynamic chord, we need to change the shape into a square wing maintaining the same lift properties. And this is done, and this is always described in the airflight manual of the aircraft. So of course, having that in mind, the leading edge mean aerodynamic chord and then trailing edge, these will be these imaginary leading edges and trailing edges of the said wing. And of course, to calculate the mean aerodynamic chord, all we need to do is to subtract the trailing edge minus the leading edge of the mean aerodynamic chord. And also remember that these are always calculated from the datum rather than from the nose of the aircraft, as a lot of questions will try to trick you with these questions as well. So 1,453 minus 1,174 and a half. And this gives us 278.5 inches. And that's the correct answer. I hope this quick revision helped you a little bit. And I encourage you to check in more videos like this one, as we'll try to support you with the exams and make a bit more of these short and deeper explanations for each subject. So have a great time studying for your exams. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.